Actually, my first traditionally published book. I have three other self-published books before that, but this is my first traditionally published book. I was always fascinated about longer story forms. Longer story form means that the story is going through generations. I believe that parents they take decisions, the grandparents they take decisions, have an impact on children and generations to come. So that was the idea behind this. So the story starts in 1947. It goes up to 2015, and the entire book is an epistolary novel written in form of letters. So the daughter is writing letter to their mother, telling them what's happening in 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and so on. The main theme of this book is parental wounds, karma. So what you do comes back to you in this generation or the next generation. So it has those themes, and in the end, it's about reconciliation and hope.
This is like a typical Indian book where family tradition is important, and at the same time Sanatan has a flavor in it, which means that the Indian value system or Hindu value system.
Absolutely. So I am a proud Hindu, and I believe that the writing which we authors are contributing to the society will add to these dialogues. So this book talks about Indian values, Indian cultures, how to treat parents, how to treat children, and how to live in a relationship and survive in a relationship.
How is it what you call dichotomy with the Western world, or is it a clash with the Western world, or is it showing the light to the Western world? Is it, if I may want to what you call critique your book?
No, so this book do not have a distinction between Indian and Western view. I believe that Western world view is completely different to Indian society. There is no match. They are trying to take some of the things from us, repackaging it and delivering them in their own system. But ultimately, everyone there and as well as in India are coming back to the roots. And as in the story as well, the characters they go apart, they go separate ways. But then in the end, because of these values, they come back again.
I mean, I won't say that give us the summary of the book, because that will take up the spice and the interest in your readers.
Yeah.
But how would you describe this book, and where do you see this book should be read by, and who it should be read by?
So I think it should be read by any child who has any issues with their parents, or any parents who have any issues with their child. So we don't talk about these things, but there are families where parents and children are in disagreement, and this book will help them heal their wounds, understand others' perspective. So those people should read this book. It's an emotional journey, it's an emotional drama, and I think this will help those people.
This book also has a little bit of femininity in it, because I mean the subtext says letters to my mother, and taking now with the current situation that we are in India, especially in what happened in Kolkata and everywhere it is being said, why don't you ask your son, why you ask your girl, or you ask your daughter? Do we contextualize? Is there any part that you feel that it should also contextualize? Your book should is contextualizing on that?
So I have written one more book, the self-published book which I was telling about, Voices of the Silent Greeks. So we'll do a launch here. That book talks. So I wrote that book in 2010. That was published in 2015. That talks about rape. That talks about molestation. Those things which I wrote in 2010 are still relevant here after 15 years. So that shows how we as a society are not progressing in the right direction. So I would say these important issues needs to be captured and then distributed to the people so that they can understand what's going on.
Can we summarize by saying that this book is a family book to be read by one and all, and at the same time it is a message for each generation, maybe a couple of two generation, three generation, because we know that earlier one generation would be 20 years, but now the generation gap is decreasing.
I think the gap is increasing in values because children are exposed to social media, which turns their thinking very quickly. But you are right, this book is a family book. People who have family values and want to understand, like drama fiction, they can read it.
And what inspired you to write this book in the first place, if I may ask as a corollary question?
So I wanted to write a longer story, as I said. So that was the goal. So from 1947 to 2015. So the story spans about 70, 80 years. Now, if I would have written it in a sequential manner, it would not be interesting. So that's why entire book is written in form of letters. So when you open this book, there are letters from 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s. So first, a longer story, then showing that what is the impact of karma on generation by generation, and then lastly, an epistolary form.
And the last question will always be, what is coming up next? What is cooking up next after this?
Part 2 of this book is coming next year, and there is a sequence of part 3 as well. So apart from that, there are other exciting projects as well which I am working on, but we'll talk about it when they come.
Thank you very much, and thank you for talking to us, and I hope this book brings a lot of positive values in our society, which is Indian society, it needs desperately.
Thank you so much.